You know Newton's third law of motion, that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction? Well, in the business world today, we got a pretty big reaction, at least in the stock market. Because remember yesterday, everyone made money yesterday. Everyone was having 1 or 2% gains yesterday, and everything was just peaches and roses and daisies, and everyone was smiling, and rainbows were popping up everywhere. Everything was absolutely great. And then today was arguably the worst trading day of the entire year, except for the financial sector, but we will get to that. So how did you guys do today to start off with? Now, we still have about 20 minutes until closing here, and stocks are rebounding a tiny bit, but overall, markets are still down substantially today. So just taking a look at the S&P 500, I mean, S&P 500 is down about 0.9% as of this current second. NASDAQ's down about 1.75% as of this current second. And whereas the Dow Jones here, Dow Jones is down about 0.8% as of this current second now. But we got about 18 minutes left actually until closing here. But everything was down today, essentially 1%. The tech sector was down 2% today. All around, this was a completely bad day. And you know what's funny? On these bad days where tech absolutely tanks, where tech drops 2% on a single day, and there's a massive tech sell-off, these are the days where I really like to go onto the day trading Reddit and just see how much people are freaking out. And boy, oh boy, are people freaking out today in the tech sector. I don't understand why people will have great days and then they'll have bad days and then they'll sell on the bad days because they start to get worried for some reason. They get really worried, and that's what I'm seeing on the Reddit. No, I'm just going to cut my losses right now. And that's terrible. That is a terrible strategy, especially if you're betting in, if you're just doing a day trading, you're just taking losses all the time. Like, what are you doing? So I know some people on the Reddit today were saying that they were taking 4-digit losses, 4 to 5-digit losses today. Taking them. Why? You had one bad day. Come on. So I want to talk more about this, what this means for the entire market as well. And so, is the market overvalued and so on? So here's my opinion on this. So all sectors were down today except for energy and financials. We're going to get to those. But tech took the big hit today. They're down about, actually as of right now, they rebounded a little bit. They're only down 1.65%. So a pretty bad day still for the most part. But so what does this mean as a whole? To me, it just means that, remember what happened 2 weeks ago? Remember what happened about 2.5 weeks ago where the tech sector just dropped like 3% in one day, 3 to 4% in one day, and everyone was freaking out? What happened? The tech sector went up a little bit after that. Went up a few percentage points. Everyone started rebounding a little bit. They didn't rebound fully, but they rebounded a little bit. And everyone was saying how that was the sign of the stock market crash. I was saying probably not. It was a possibility, but probably not. And people were also saying that, is this a shift from tech sector to, I think at the time, what was the other sector? It was like utilities at the time, utilities or some other sector like that. And I was thinking, you know, not really. This is just a bad day for tech. That's what it was a few weeks ago, and that's what it is today, I think. It's just an overall bad day. There are ups and downs. I mean, here's a funny thing. So people were saying today was one of the worst trading days of this entire year, and it is. It was one of the worst trading days of the entire year. But if you account for the gains that people had yesterday, the S&P 500 is actually still up. It is up 0.5% as of 2 days ago. Because the gains were so massive yesterday, they counteracted the losses today. And people are just freak out about this. They have one bad day, and then the next day is good, and then the next day is bad, and then the next day is good. This is how the stock market works, people. It's how it works. So the NASDAQ, for example, was down 1.35% today, but if you account for the last 2 days, they're only down 0.16%, which is barely a loss. And now the Dow Jones, same exact thing. 2 days ago to today, they're only down 0.07%, and they're down 0.78% as of today. So like barely any losses whatsoever. This is how the stock market works, people. It's a bad day, but yesterday was great and people forget about it. People are like, oh, is the stock market crashing today? Should you be worried? No. No, the crash isn't, if it's coming, I don't think it's going to be in the next few weeks. Okay, I don't think it's going to be in the next month or two or few months. It's going to be over the next year or two. That was my opinion on this. It's not, you have one bad day, and even if the stock market crashes, why are you selling? Why are you selling and taking losses even if it were to crash? That is so stupid. Now, sure, there are some stocks that don't rebound. I think a lot of the people who sell for losses, they only invest in tech, and that is the worst strategy you can have. So, for example, me, you know, two of my last three trades, actually 3 of my last trades have been in financials and utilities. Utilities had a bad day today. Financials had a really good day today, right? So you got to you can't put everything in tech and just hope that the stock goes up $100 in one day. It goes up 10% in one day, 20% in one day. You can't, and then if it goes down, you can't just worry about that. You can't do that, guys. That is the most stupid thing you can do. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. I mean, that's why I don't worry. Invest in the long term. Take some risks. I've taken some risks, one of which hasn't panned out in Google. That's fine. I'm going to keep holding on to the stock. I still think Google's going to be a fantastic company in the next 10 years. I'm going to hold on to it as long as I can. And that's why you don't have to worry about these daily shifts. I mean, actually, I woke up today. Now, the markets have rebounded as a whole in the last 30, 40, 50 minutes. But as I woke up today, like today was one of the, like everything was in the red today. I mean, like I'm just looking through my phone here, everything's in the red today. Almost everything except for the financials. So let's go through some specific stocks actually. I think that we should we'll tackle some stock market winners and losers today. And then we're going to move on to some other stuff here, some Trump news, some Amazon, Walmart news, some Blue Apron IPO. How did that go? So we'll tackle some specific stocks here. So let's see, winners and losers here. So energy had a really good day. I'm really glad. So energy's had oil, gas, energy as a whole has gone up substantially for the past 5 days, which is, that's great. Or the past 3 days, right? 3 trading days. So I'm really glad about that. It's kind of what I expected. They've had such a downturn over the past few months, even past year, that I was expecting a rebound. So will it continue? I don't really know. But let's see here. So AMD had the biggest loss today in terms of, you know, relatively large companies over $4 billion. So Advanced Micro Devices, they are down 4.5% today, which is pretty rough. And in the last 5 days, they're down 13%. Ugh. Oh, that really sucks. Are they a Silicon Valley company? I think so. That's Sunnyvale. Is that Silicon Valley? That's not Redwood City though. I don't know where Sunnyvale is, but I kind of remember them from before. So they developed computer processors. They've had a pretty down day today. Let's take a look at the financials actually, because they were some of the big winners today. So we're going to take a look at Citigroup. So Citigroup, all the American banks did fantastic today. So Citigroup's up 2.24%. Wells Fargo up this one's not updated though. Wells Fargo is up 2.25%. Yes, 2.25%. Bank of America, they are up about 1% as of right now, about 1%. Let's see here. No, 1 second. Oh, this is a little bit behind here. They're up 2%. Sorry, there we go. JP Morgan's up about 1%. Goldman Sachs, they're up about 0.5%. Although I don't know why, this takes a little while to update here. But all the financials had a really good day today, so they're the only winners, I guess, the big American bank companies. And what I like about them, like I don't trust them as much as I did like 10 years ago before the crash. But I do like that they pay a decent dividend. But I do like Canadian banks have the best dividends, though. 3 to 4% are great. But these all pay really good dividends. Wells Fargo, they had that scandal, didn't sink them. Their stock's actually gone up a lot in the past 5 days. We're talking about 5% gains there. So they've had a pretty good run here. All the financials did really well today. So congratulations for all of you that diversify your portfolio into things that are beyond tech. You didn't lose all your money today. So good job on that. Let's see here. Oh yeah, there's one other oil company I want to talk about today, Newfield Exploration Corp. So Newfield Exploration Corp stock. Sorry, excuse me, for whatever reason this wasn't open. I thought I had it open. So they're up 3.66%, 3.63% today. So they've had a really good day too. So a lot of, the oil energy companies had a really good day. And that's, again, this is good. So actually I was thinking about, because everything had such a down day today, I was thinking of making my next investment next week because I already made my last one on Monday. I'm trying to make one a week roughly, but because everything's so down today, I might buy something outside of financials and energy today, just because everything's down 1 to 1.5% today. So, what do you guys think? I think that you probably should. Today, you're taking a 2% gain essentially because everything's down 2% today, 1.5%. it's like you're getting a little bit of a steal if you were to buy today because everything's so down. I mean, people are all freaking out like, oh, does this mean that's going to be down for the next week? Maybe. Maybe not. Probably not. So we still got one more day to actually go to tomorrow's. Oh, yeah, that's right. Tomorrow is the last day of the quarter. Yay! So what does that mean? It means that all the companies are trying to reach their quotas for sales tomorrow. It also means that I think that's pretty much it, actually. I mean, isn't that the thing that what do cops do, right? There's that thing where cops actually have quotas for the amount of speeding tickets and things that they have to write people up for. They actually have certain amounts that they should be catching people, even if someone's not doing something illegal. If something's really close, like if the speeding limit's like 60 and they're going 70, or in terms of kilometers per hour, so miles per hour, that's like what, 55? No, that's about 55 and 50. But like if someone's just barely over the speed limit, usually they don't bust you. But if it's the last day of the quarter and they have to meet their quota, they're probably going to give you a ticket. And funny, two of my friends are cops. That is true. It's unfortunately the way the system works. So that's the same thing with businesses. They want to get their earnings up as much as possible before the quarter ends. That's the way it works. So yeah, they're going to be pushing for high earnings in the next day. So let's see what else I want to talk about here. So do I think that the tech sector's going to tank again? No. I mean, we saw this 3 weeks ago. The tech sector went down and then it plateaued and went up a little bit and then it went down again today. And we're going to see that probably again because it is so overvalued. So the tech stocks, here's the thing. Everyone knows they're overvalued, right? There's no debate about this anymore, right? All the tech stocks are overvalued. However, they're still going to perform pretty well into the near future, I think, largely because they have, what's the word I'm looking for here? The most rapid growth potential, I guess. And because there's no stock market crash coming in the next couple of weeks, I don't think, they're going to tech stocks are going to do well, at least for the next few weeks, I think. I mean, think about it. Like, someone was talking about this today, actually, on CNBC. It was Kevin O'Leary was talking about this today, about how, one of the reasons why tech stocks are so overvalued, well, it's so simple, right? I've talked about this before. They have the most rapid growth potential. That, like, Amazon could take over the world. Theoretically, well, not take over the world, but you know what I mean, right? They could go from, they're worth $700 or $600 billion right now, or $500 billion. I think it's about $600 billion. They go to the first $1 trillion company in the next year and a half. It's a realistic possibility. However, will Citibank do that? No, they're a slow growth, high profitability company. They're much more stable. That's why they pay dividends. Much more profitable, and they're stable. That's why I like to invest in those. A lot of my portfolio is in those stable, 3 to 4 to 5%. Actually, I saw a stock today. I'm going to do a breakdown of it on my website. I saw a 7% dividend stock today that didn't look unstable on first glance. So I'm going to dig into that on my website today. You can check that out, linked below, stock market program. But it was really quite interesting. So yeah, so do I think tech's going to tank in the future? Potentially. Over the course of a few months, potentially. Yeah, I could see that happening. Is this a sign that it's going to tank at 4% tomorrow or 2% again tomorrow? Probably not. We're probably going to see another rebound here. And so all the people that sold off today, that's unfortunate for you guys. So let's see here. We talked about energy, about rebounding. We talked about it's the last day of the quarter. Oh, Blue Apron IPO. I just want to give you guys an update on that because I talked about it yesterday. So Blue Apron IPO'd yesterday. And by the way, the valuation of the company, it's my apologies, I completely got that wrong because I misread the amount of shares that were outgoing. And so the expected shares they had were originally supposed to be $15 to $17. This was 3 weeks ago before Amazon bought Whole Foods. Then everyone started freaking out about all food companies. And so they lowered their estimate for their IPO down to about $10 to $11 per share, but about $10 per share. And so they launched today and they got $10 per share right out of the gate. And then they went right up to $11 per share right out of the gate. So a nice gain over about 2 hours. And then today they've settled at roughly $10. So they had a very average IPO. And that's usually a bad sign because, well, it might be a good sign because think about all the other tech, new company IPOs. Blue Apron's like a hybrid, right? Because you order stuff online and then it's an actual food company that delivers stuff. It's not It's not like a lot of the other app companies like Snapchat and stuff, but they are every other one of those companies. We're talking like GoPro, Snapchat, all those new app tech online companies that have launched. They've had really good first few days, and then they've just sucked. And then they've just been the worst stocks on the market. I mean, should we even check on Snapchat? Let's check on Snapchat. Everyone was so bullish on them. I'm like, guys, what are you doing? You guys, I love that I'm on record saying this stuff. So Snapchat's up 0.73% today. Apparently, they're the one stock that went up today. That's tech, so that's really funny. But however, now look at all the news articles. They're saying there's no good reason to buy Snapchat. They may be unable to stay above their IPO price. Blue Apron IPO opening price stock comparison with Snapchat. So Snapchat, since its IPO, it's down 35%. And let's check GoPro. I mean, I really hate these new tech IPOs, guys. GoPro. Okay, so GoPro since its IPO last year, it's had a 25% loss. But since its peak from about 9 months ago, it's at a 50% loss already. And it's had zero gains in the past 7 months, which is absolutely terrible. So what I'm trying to say here is all these big IPOs, like, just wait them out. A lot of these tech companies, they don't last. There's always bigger and better technologies. You know, people, and the thing in the tech space too is that, here's one thing I want to think about. A little piece of advice for all of you youngster investors out there. All of these new tech IPOs that launch and you want to invest in, think about this. You know what? We're going to tell the Instagram story. So if these big, giant companies like Facebook, Google, Amazon, whatever, if they wanted to branch out and essentially copy another tech company's ideas, they could. They have the funds for it. Apple literally has $250 billion sitting in a bank somewhere in Europe or in the Cayman Islands or whatever. It's spread out. But that's what I'm trying to say here, is that it got copied. That's why it's dying right now. Facebook has much more money. It took them about 6 months to 1 year to implement that into Instagram, and Snapchat's dead or dying. And so all these new tech IPOs, like Blue Apron, can get copied by Amazon. Easily. It might not be in the next year, it might not be in the next 5 years, but Amazon is worth, what, 700 times what Blue Apron is? So this is something for you guys to think about. Just a piece of advice for all of you IPOers out there is that all these tech ones, they've historically been very good for, essentially a few days, maybe a week, a few weeks, and then they just don't pan out to be what everyone thinks. That's what happens. So be wary of those. Now, saying that, that's just in tech. So sometimes biotech can be really good. Biotech has had some good IPOs. We're talking essentially any other sector, really, like consumer staples, and any of those companies can do just fine. Just specifically the tech sector IPOs, I just do not trust them whatsoever. So there's 3 more things I want to touch on, 2 of which are articles that I just want to talk about and get your opinions on. So one article came out saying that there are much more people on this planet that have $30 million in net worth than there were last year. That group of $30 million net worth individuals and up, that increased by 3.5% last year to roughly 226,450 individuals. Wow, they are really in a class of their own. 226,000 out of 7.5 billion people. That's insane. So there were some other things that this article said here. The median total compensation for CEOs last year was totaled on average at about $11.5 million, which is an 8.5% increase from the previous year and the largest increase since 2013. And it also said the number of this is interesting, the number of world's billionaires fell by 3% last year, down to 2,397. So 283 billionaires dropped out of the billionaire status category, which is 10%, and roughly 207 joined in. So there was a net loss of billionaires. So that was quite interesting because, I don't know, it's one of the first times in the recent history that that's actually happened, that there's been less billionaires than there have been the year before. It's largely because China, actually. It's China and Germany. For whatever reason, I don't know what's happening in Germany right now, but this article said that they lost, by themselves, 15% of their billionaires in 1 year. So I don't know what happened over there. Maybe they've just had a bad year in Germany. I don't really know. So what do you guys think about that? I think that it's, you know, see, I'm really torn on this wealth inequality, income inequality thing. Do I think that CEOs should get golden parachutes worth $100 million? No. Especially if their company's in the tank, like it was with Mercer Mayer, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Get these golden parachutes, they get fired, and their company's worse off than when they left it. That's not reasonable, no. However, if they take the company from $1 billion in revenue to $10 billion in revenue, should they get a $50 million compensation for decisions that they made and ideas that they came up with? Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, people, you know, this is the whole talk about income inequality and wealth inequality. So I always talk about this, like, Bill Gates is the reason why you have a computer in your house right now. Bill Gates and Steve Wozniak. And I guess Steve Jobs, but I don't really count him as much. And Michael Dell, I guess you include him too. But do they deserve to be worth billions of dollars? Yeah. Without them, think about it, no computers, no internet. Essentially, if there's no consumer computers, the progress of that gets slowed down substantially. Internet was a thing since, what, the 1950s, 60s, it was a military thing. And then it became, public in the early 90s? The information superhighway. And so do they deserve to be billionaires? I mean, yeah. Do people who screw over their companies and rob employees that are making minimum wage and CEOs get a $100 million compensation package for getting fired? I don't think that's fair. So that's where I stand on those issues. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the whole CEO compensation packages? Do you think that some of them are fair? I mean, $8.5 million, if the company, $11.5 million, I mean, if that's the salary of big time CEOs in Fortune 500 companies, yeah, that's fine. Especially if the company's growing and they're producing more innovative products, I'm okay with that. Are you guys okay with that? I don't know actually where my followers stand. I think that most of you are kind of in between, like I am. Like a lot of the economic conservative ideas, with a lot of liberal policies as well. I think most of you guys are somewhat centrist, maybe lean a little bit conservative like me, maybe you lean liberal. I don't really know. I'm actually quite interested from where you guys stand on all that stuff, because I have no idea. I might do a Twitter poll on that, actually. So another thing I want to talk about is a fake article, a fake news line, or fake headline. So this is a complete clickbait. So it said, the title was something along the lines of, Amazon or Walmart and Amazon are officially at war, or something like that. And the article stated that Walmart is now no longer allowing truck drivers that they work with, or trucking companies that they work with. They say that if you're going to work with Amazon, we're not going to work with you anymore. That's what the article said. So if that's true, that's, you know, a little bit of a headline, you can say. However, there's a few things. One, they've been at war for a while. And two, the source for this information was absolutely terrible. So this was an article seen by hundreds of thousands of people. And the source of the information goes something like this. In a note this morning from Deutsche Bank's freight and logistics analyst, Amit Mehrotra, he notes that the Walmart versus Amazon battle is heating up, and points to a report by DV Velocity, according to which a well-respected transportation industry consultant told attendees of a logistics conference that Walmart is telling trucking companies that it will no longer do business with them if they continue moving goods with Amazon. So that is the source of the information. The source is essentially a source of a source of a source of a source. So the truth of that, who really knows? It could be true. I don't see it being true because Walmart would be losing trucking companies. And that's not the way you go about beating Amazon. You don't take away their trucking companies. There's going to be new ones that pop up. You don't go, just like Walmart's not going to buy Whole Foods. That's not how you go about stopping Amazon. How you have to do it is provide a better service and outcompete them. Don't just threaten companies that you work with, say, hey, you're not allowed to grow your own company. They're going to hate you for that. They're going to really hate you for that. That's not how you grow it. You're supposed to beat Amazon at their own game, just like Amazon's beating you at your own game. So I don't think that the validity of that article is true. I just need to clear that up because stupid. Fake news. It's fake news. And let's see here. So, oh yeah, so the other thing that it said here, CNBC reported, I don't know if this is true or not, Walmart warned some tech companies that if they want Walmart's business, they can't run applications on Amazon's cloud platform or Amazon Web Services. I don't know the validity of that either. This is a CNBC report. Usually they're somewhat reliable, CNBC, compared to whatever the hell website routers or whatever the other thing was from. But if that's true, that's quite intriguing. That's the way that Walmart's going about trying to beat Amazon. What do you guys think about this? And who do you think is going to win this competition? I know right now Amazon is killing, right? Everyone's really bullish on Amazon. However, I think that Amazon has a higher potential, obviously a much higher potential for growth. I mean, that's not even close. They also have a much higher potential of a downfall, which people don't think about. I think that, like, just because simply it's a tech company, it's an online tech company right now. They are massive. They could take over the world. But as we've seen, tech companies can fall. They can fall pretty drastically overnight. Walmart's been a staple for 50 years. If they go out of business, it's going to take some time. But I think that Amazon, again, that's my opinion on that. I think Amazon's going to win it. They're going to win the battle between those two. I just think that Amazon has a higher risk for going out of business than Walmart does. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? I'd be interested to hear what you guys say. So last thing I want to talk about, it was just an article came out. I had to talk about it. It's a poll that came out that said that people aren't believing as much in the tax reform and healthcare as much as they have been. I think I talked about this in the past few days as well. And my opinion on this is, look, the tax reform is going to be good for business activity. It's not going to be good for, some obviously government funded, government funded activities, I guess. Whether you like tax cuts or not, they are usually good for business for the most part. Whether it's good for the economy, for the country, that's a whole different story. But are they good for business? Yeah. So do I still have confidence that this will be good for business in the United States? Yes, certainly. We're seeing massive, massive tax cuts. It'll be good for business investment, I think, too. But will it? It seems that people are losing faith in it. Losing faith that the tax cuts and the healthcare reform will actually do anything. And so it's just an open question to you guys. What do you guys think is going to happen? Do you guys still have faith that these tax cuts, these healthcare reforms will be good, at least temporarily, for the next 3 years? Do you think that they'll be good for the next 3 years for the country, for the economy, and so on? I think that if I were to live in the United States, which I don't, but if I were, I would be very excited as someone who is an entrepreneur and small business owner. Because it means that for me, I would save I would save in the tens of thousands in taxes, assuming I didn't do all the business expenses that I did to try and avoid taxes here in Canada. But it would save me literally tens of thousands, and I would use that to grow my company. And so that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that for people like me, the small business, medium-sized business people, this is going to help you grow your business. And so that's who it's good for. And now people think that it's going to be, rich people are going to save a lot of money, and they are. The very top, the billionaires, 100 millionaires, 10 millionaires that just pocket their money, they're going to save millions and millions of dollars every year, tens of millions of dollars from these tax cuts. However, so are the small business people, right? And so are everyone from the bottom up. We're talking if you make $25,000 or less a year as personal income, no taxes. If you make $50,000 a year as a household with a spouse, no taxes. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. We're talking saving thousands and thousands of dollars per year, hundreds of dollars per month. So which is the difference between you being able to put food on the table and not, or being able to pay rent or not? Now, there's some deregulation that's coming too, which makes me a little bit nervous in the financial sector, but that's going to, deregulation always leads to some sort of, shitstorm in the financial industry. We've seen that every time there's been massive deregulation, right? But it's always good in the short term. I mean, in the short term, you're going to make a lot of money in financials. So what the hell do I know? So this video's gone on too long. I think I'm going to wrap this video up. So how did you guys do today in the stock market? So officially, the market should be closed right now. So just as a whole, okay, so tech was down almost 2% today, telecom down 1%. So everything was down between 1% and 2%. So things went down in the last 10 or 15 minutes. So except for, even financials went down. So all in all, a terrible day. So how did you guys do today? Leave a comment down below. I did not too well today. This was probably the worst trading day I've had. since I started my new portfolio about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So how did you guys do? Leave a comment down below. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. You're all very beautiful people, and I'll see you guys in the next video.